Most vegetables only give you one harvest. Rhubarb, on the other hand, this can produce for 10 years or more, so it's so important to understand how to start it right. When we're looking at our rhubarb plant, we have three. Hello. When we're looking at our rhubarb plant, we have three main components. So we have the leaves, we have the stalk underneath, and then we have the crown. So when we're looking at sowing, we're focusing on the crown, but I just want to cover the leaves quickly. Now, the leaves, they're highly toxic. We don't want to be eating them. So, yeah, we want to break them off. Additionally, when it comes to the stalks, that is what we are trying to eat and harvest. With rhubarb, there's three ways that people normally actually plant it and buy it. So first of all, you can either use a seed packet. Seed packet, it takes probably a longer time, as well as personally, I don't do that. I just don't find it worthwhile. Next is a very common method, just buying a rhubarb plant. It's probably the easiest method. It'd be the most expensive method. However, you're almost guaranteed to get rhubarb out of that unless you put it into poor soil. Lastly is the method I'll be showing today, which is using bare roots. So these are previously grown rhubarb, and essentially what we're doing, we're taking the roots, because that's where it grows from, and the crown, and putting it in the ground. So I'm going to show you the process of how to go about doing that for the best success. So we are looking at three different bare roots today. So this is red champagne. We have this one, which is Timperley early. And the last one, this is Valentine. So we're going to show how to plant them all out for the best success. What we want to start with is by soaking our bare roots. So I have a bare root here, and all I'm going to do is this. So I've got some water, I've been using it to soak other plants, and I'm going to take my bare root, I'm just going to put it into the water. And what I'm doing, I'm just soaking it. So I'm leaving it in there for around an hour. This should give it more than enough time to saturate. Maybe you don't need to do it that long. I just prefer to do it for around that time. Interestingly enough, the crowns do actually look slightly different. So this one is one of the crowns. This one is another crown, so it looks slightly thicker. And obviously the other one is like a multi-tuber one. So crowns come in all different shapes and sizes. This is where we want to plant our rhubarb. But first of all, what we've got to do is clear it away. As you can see, it's very overgrown and definitely needs to be tidied up. So let's go on with that, and yeah, you'll see what it turns out like now. So after clearing away all those weeds, we can have a clean space for our rhubarb to start growing. So I've actually already got this hole here. However, I'm just going to start filling it with some compost, and this was from a previous plant that was grown here, and it's clearly not survived too long. And the key thing about the hole is not to make it too deep. So we're filling it with regular compost, so putting some in first. And interestingly enough, we're not trying to actually put the rhubarb into a crater. Instead, we're looking for more of a mound. And you can see that the tuber and the roots, with me pointing to the crown here, so we want to make sure the crown is facing upwards and not buried beneath the soil. We want to keep that nice and visible, as you can see. So as you can see, I'm creating a bit of a mound. So this mound should help with water. So we don't want our tuber and roots to rot, so the water can just run away down the mound. When it comes to spacing, rhubarb can go quite wide, so I would say around sort of 2 meters apart should be more than sufficient. However, you might need more space or less space depending on the room you have. And these are the two rhubarb plants I've planted, so they're ready to go and ready to start growing. When it comes to maintenance, rhubarb couldn't really be easier. Essentially, once it's in the ground, it can just grow on its own. The main job is for weed maintenance. Over winter, it can get overgrown, so we need to clear that up. And that's what I've done here. So the rhubarb was very overgrown. I actually found an oregano plant next to it, interesting enough, which self-seeded. So that could be useful later down the line. Once we've exposed the rhubarb, we can see the real evidence of damage that's been done over winter, but it's nothing to worry about. This is easily repairable and the plant can more than survive from these conditions. And you can see that yellowing bits of the leaves as well as some slug damage. So these are all symptomatic of a plant that, yeah, it's had a tough winter, but the important thing is the crown has been protected. Slugs can cause a lot of damage to rhubarb. However, if you've got a healthy rhubarb plant, it shouldn't really last too long and it shouldn't affect the rhubarb long term. As I said, it's about protecting the crown. The leaves individually are not that big of a deal, and rhubarb can survive with little to no leaves in the first place. Now, cleaning away these weeds will help the plant get more nutrients, as the weeds will take away some water as well as essential nutrients the rhubarb needs to grow. It's also essential that we remove any dead or decaying leaves, as this is a main attraction for slugs and other pests and can also lead to disease. So we need to break off these individual rhubarb leaves using the technique I'm showing now, and also start to clear away the weeds as well. Looking very closely at the crown, we can see there's stems and there's the central crown. Over time, the crown does appear to get bigger because you're pulling off different stems and the remains are left there, and that's what forms the crown. These type of formations also give us a good indication of how old this rhubarb is, and is quite important when it comes to whether or not we try and force it or not. Stem wise, we've got two stems that are at different stages. So this is a younger root and this is an older root. This is much thicker, this is much newer, and you can also tell by the slightly lighter colour versus the more mature one. So this one is ready to go in terms of harvesting and can be easily harvested now. So with rhubarb, to harvest it, what you don't do, you do not cut it. That will not work and is not good for the long-term health and can lead to infection. So simply, all we need to do is very easy, no equipment required. We just pull. So you pull and it releases it. And we have our rhubarb to harvest. Let's compare a younger one. So here we have another one. If I try and pull this with the same amount, see, it doesn't want to release, so it is not ready to go. That's an easy way to test it. See here, I'm trying to pull it, I can't pull it out, so it's not ready to go. After all that, I got this very small harvest, but it's still something. I also found the culprits of the damage. So there was quite a few slugs, which I saw and got rid of, as well as snails. And these are the culprits for the leaf damage. So that's why it's essential we keep on top of our weeds. Finally, maintenance. Rhubarb is generally a very low maintenance vegetable and can produce for years and years and years. However, feeding it every year will help harvests and hopefully provide a long-term sustainable way for the plant to grow. All we're doing is putting compost around the crown. This will enable the plant to get more nutrients, as well as not needing us to add things like fertilizers, and will definitely help in terms of the long-term sustainability of the plant as well as the crown. And additionally, it should hopefully act as a bit of a mulch, keeping water in the soil as well as raising the temperature slightly. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. So this has been Sow Like a Pro Rhubarb edition. If you want to check out more of my content, click this video up here. And if you want to subscribe for more, click this up here. And that's how you will stay up to date and see how the journey unfolds.